10 things you didn't think to ask when you were buying a house. You checked out the location, the price, the size, but have you considered these often overlooked details that could make or break a home buying decision for you? Stick around because these tips could save you from future headaches and help you find the perfect home. Question number one is, what's the noise level like at different times of the day? Is it worse at night? A lot of times, if you go to look at a house, if you're looking during the daytime hours, a lot of people may be at work, kids may be at school. So I would suggest that if you go look at the house during a specific part of the day, go back, kind of do a drive-by, park your car, walk through the neighborhood, and then see what the sound level is, what the noise level is, and what kind of activity is going on in that subdivision in a different part of the day. Next question is, what are the neighbors like? So are they friendly? Are they noisy? Are people waving at you? Do they speak to you? Or does everybody just kind of turn their head and go on? And for you, you may want a subdivision where people are not going to be all that friendly to you because you're an introvert and you don't want to talk to people. But you need to go and check it out firsthand, maybe talk to a few neighbors, see what they like about living in that community. Third question is, how's the water pressure? So if you're buying a home here in Morristown, typically the water pressure is not going to be that big a deal. But if you're looking at an outlying county where maybe you don't have access to utility water, maybe you're relying on a well, then you do want to get that water pressure checked, because you don't want to be trying to wash the dishes and somebody take a shower or do the laundry and find out you have absolutely no water pressure in the house. So that's an important one as well. What's the internet speed and reliability? Now, 5 years ago, if you were coming to East Tennessee to look for a home, there were going to be a lot of areas where you were going to be dependent on satellite internet. Now, due to a grant that the state of Tennessee gave to our local electric companies, most everywhere in our area has access to high-speed fiber internet. But you definitely want to check, if you're buying in an outlying area, to make sure that you're going to have high-speed internet. Number 5 would be, are there any restrictions or regulations in the area? So that's going to be like HOAs, that's going to be zoning regulations. If you're buying a historic home, are there any kind of historic preservation laws that you need to know about? Now, a lot of our communities are not in HOAs here, but they will still have some restrictions, meaning that it's going to have to be a site-built home. You can't put mobile homes in there. Maybe you're not allowed to have cars parked out on the street. You need to check, have your agent check for you, and see what kind of restrictions and zoning regulations are going to be in place. Number 6 is, what is the natural light like? If you work and you're going to look at houses of the evening time, depending on what time of year it is, I would definitely try to make a time on maybe a weekend day to go back and look at that house in the middle of the day, see what kind of natural light that you're going to be working with. There's nothing worse than buying a house and getting in it and realizing, oh yeah, this house is kind of dark. There's not enough windows in the house, or maybe the paint color makes the house seem darker. So check out the natural light in a house, because that can really affect your energy and your mood when you're living there. Number 7 is, what are the utility costs like? Most people will ask when they find a house that they're interested in, hey, so what's their average utility bill? How much is the electric? How much is the water and the sewer? If they have natural gas, they want to know how much they're spending on that. Because you don't want to buy a home that has really high electric bills and you find that out the first cold winter that you have. So find out what the average is on the electric and water bills. Number 8 is going to be, has the house had any past issues with pest, mold, or structural problems? Now, here in Tennessee, if you're selling a home that you lived in as your primary residence within the past 3 years, you have to fill out a property condition disclosure. And part of the questions on that disclosure are going to ask about pest, structural foundation problems, mold, anything like that. But when you get into buying a house that maybe someone is selling that they inherited as part of an estate, or that someone had as a rental home, you may not have that information available from the disclosure. So definitely have your agent reach out to the other agent, ask those questions, make sure that you have a home inspection done, and you tell the inspector to specifically check for those particular things because they're going to be able to see evidence if there were mold or pest issues in the past. Number 9 is how accessible are you to essential things like grocery stores, restaurants, Walmart, all that kind of thing. So if you drove through town to get to the house here in Morristown, obviously you're not going to be very far from anything, right? But if you're buying in an outlying county, again, sometimes the agent who shows you may not be familiar with the area. So definitely have them reach out and find out, where is the closest grocery store? Where is my closest Walmart? If I want to go to Costco or Publix or Sam's Club, where am I having to go? If I need to go to an airport, is the Tri-Cities quicker? Is Knoxville quicker? You want to know how close you are to these various things. Finally, what are the future development plans for the area? I've had a client who bought a house on 3 acres, backed up to a big old field, thought that he had his own little private area there, and lived there for numerous years without any problems. But then all of a sudden, a new home community pops up in that field. Now, it didn't really affect him. He did have some woods, but obviously, when they were doing that construction, he could hear that through the trees, especially during the winter months. Now, if you buy a home, I don't know that anybody can predict what's going to happen 15 to 20 years from now, but you definitely want to check with the county, with the city, see if there's any plans on the table for future development that's going to be around you that could affect your property value. These questions are going to help provide valuable insight to you that go beyond the traditional factors of, yeah, it's in the right location, the price is good, that size fits our needs. So drop a comment with any other questions that you think buyers should be asking during the buying process.